it's Irony here, and you might be wondering, what's this on my lap? Well, it's an introduction to this week's video. Now, this week we're going to be talking about love. Well, not really love, more relationships, and not really healthy ones, more abusive ones. And specifically emotionally abusive, because that's what I went through in the past. And I've been debating for a while whether to do this or not, because I don't want to call the person out, and I want to make it clear I'm not calling the person out from doing this. So, in the description below, I just put a bunch of links for signs, different facts, and different quizzes you can take, and I specifically put on there a best website link to the advocacycenter.org, and that really is the best website if you can't really, you have to do things without people knowing, because, it still will show up on internet browser history and things like that, but they do have a warning that says that, and they have a little escape button in the corner where if you need to escape the website really quickly if someone walks in, just click that and it sends you to a complete new website. And so that's a really good thing, so I wanted to link that down there for you guys. But I have my notebook too, because I do not want to miss anything, because this is a really important subject that doesn't get talked about a lot. So I'm going to start off with some facts, and all the links to where I got the facts are also below, so you can check that out. But domestic violence is the leading cause of injury to women between the ages of 15 and 44. 1,247 women and 440 men were killed by an intimate partner in 2000. Women between the ages of 16 and 24 are 3 times more likely to experience intimate partner violence than women of any other age groups. Of women between the ages of 15 and 19 who are murdered each year, about 30% are killed by a husband or boyfriend. So, those are just some facts, and they're not very positive facts. I looked up for LGBT plus facts. I couldn't really find much. Basically what I found is it's around the same amount of relationships are abusive as heterosexual. But also I have found that sometimes it's harder for people of LGBT+, because some places it's harder to get, some states it's harder to get a restraining order and just things like that, that sometimes the legal system part of it, depending on the state, is kind of harder to go through and is a little bit biased. But other than that, LGBT relationships, similar to straight relationships. And so for some of the signs, I'm going to say the sign, and I'm going to say my experience with this sign. I've had, just only a couple of signs. There are a lot more out there, and I've experienced a lot more. But again, by not calling the person out, and just some things are too personal for me to say. So just go with it, and a bunch of signs down below. So, and Google's a good place to find all these if you're not finding what you're looking for. But they push for quick involvement. So you get into the relationship and they say I love you really quickly, and they push to just Facebook status and just kind of getting serious faster than normal relationships would. And I've had that experience, and it's just, this is one of the big ones that I'm going to talk about because it seems so amazing at first. It's just this wonderful thing where they're constantly about you, and they constantly are like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And it's new, exciting, and happy at first. But then it becomes a time where it gets suffocating, and they just don't take a moment to breathe. And it's even worse if you come from a state of mind where you're not very happy, and you're not very happy with yourself, because that's what happened with me. I was very anxious, and I was very depressed, and I got into this relationship, and I was definitely more likely back then to be go into the fast-paced relationship than I am now. And so from that also stems check-ins, where you have to kind of check in, tell them where you are, what you're doing, if you're doing something and it takes you long to reply, it leads on to the following fact of jealousy. And that's kind of what it was. Like, if I didn't reply in 5 minutes, I was cheating. I said someone was a nice guy one time when I talked to them once because we shared class together, and that was at one class. I said I thought he was a nice guy, and I was cheating on him, cheating on my significant other with that guy. And so jealousy is a huge part of it, or sometimes just jealousy of attention. You're giving someone else a little more attention, like a friend's having issues, so you're giving them attention. The abuser might then cause problems for themselves to get the attention back on themselves, and things like that. So there's isolation, which didn't really happen to me. It wasn't necessarily a cutoff, more of, I mean, it slightly happened, but not in the way most people would think. I kind of stopped talking to people because of the jealousy factor. I just didn't want to deal with it. But there were things, too, where, like, I felt more reluctant to talk to my mom because it was just constantly going through my phone, and I was trying to find him a birthday present. No, a Christmas present. That's when it was. I was trying to find him a Christmas present, and I couldn't talk about it with my mom. I had to wait till I get home because I couldn't text it because I knew he'd be looking through my phone. And things like that. I came up with code words with my mom because I knew he'd be mad at the fact that I wanted to go home even if I wasn't feeling well. So, I mean, things like that. It's a little bit of isolation because you feel less, like, you're more reluctant to just talk to family members. There's also hypersensitivity, which leads to you walking on eggshells. And that's pretty much where they get offended or are mad at pretty much everything. You have to constantly watch what you say. Something's always wrong. Someone tells them to do their work, and clearly they're the bitch, and, like, the person who's telling them to do their work is a bitch, and things like that. It's just, they're constantly upset at something, and you have to be really, really sensitive. But this, again, this isn't to, like, be confused with sensitivity, because I'm easily sensitive. Like, I'm easily put in a sensitive spot. I'm not quite sure how to word that, but I get emotional really quickly, and I get angry at things quickly and things like that. But there's a difference between having it be your personality and having it be a little bit sensitive. Like, there's a line between regular sensitivity and hypersensitivity. And sometimes it's confusing to find that line, and for a while I just thought it was normal sensitivity before I really found out it was hypersensitivity. So that is something to really think about. And there's the king/queen of guilt trips. Yeah, I'm not going to get into detail on my personal experience with this one, but really a huge sign of it is you find yourself guilted into things constantly and manipulated into things and things like that. There's things like seeming hostile and physically rough. I wasn't physically abused, I was more emotionally, but physically rough can just be things like blocking doorways with their body and, like, slightly shoving you back a bit so you can't leave. Or there was one time I was walking down the hallway trying to get away so I could go to class, and I got grabbed by my bag, where I keep my bag on one shoulder, so luckily, like, it pulled me back, but I was able to slip my arm out, where if I had worn it on two shoulders, I would have been on the floor flat on my butt, because it was such a forceful tug, and I had a little mark on my arm, and I ended up showing my friend that. But it's just things like that where they don't really notice, but if they grab you by your hand, I had talked to my friends a lot about that. Like, I'd be grabbed, and I'd, like, show them, it would still be slightly red, and I'm like, it still hurts. I know they didn't mean to grab me that forcefully, but it happened. And there's threatened self-harm and suicide, and this is just a general thing. Sometimes it'll be like, you'll mention the fact of bringing up, or they'll bring it up, like, you'll mention the fact of breaking up, or they'll bring it up themselves, something like that, and they'll say, I can't live without you, or I'll kill myself if we break up. And it's over different things too, like, I'll kill myself if you get pregnant, or things like that, or I'll cut myself if you don't answer the phone. Or there were times, maybe they cut themselves in front of you, like, almost not saying it, but almost as a look what you're making me do type implying thing when you're in arguments. And also and this goes with the physically rough and seeming hostile, but hitting things near you or around you. Like hitting a tissue box in front of you or the wall or breaking things. And it's just intimidating, especially if you have anxiety or are going through anxiety attacks. And that's really all I'm doing for you guys, but please, if you think you're in an abusive relationship, if you think your friend is in an abusive relationship, or you think a family member might be, or just if you're curious, just the links are down below. Please read them. I hope this video was informative, and please, even if you have nothing, like, you know nobody who's in an abusive relationship, you really know nothing about it, it doesn't involve your life, please know the warning signs, because it could really save you and save your life and save your sanity. And so, I'm also going to put a hotline down below, an abusive help hotline. And another thing about the Advocacy Center, and I'm bringing it up just because I remembered, it's not just about abusive relationships. They also have things for adult sexual assault, child sexual assault, child abuse. They have links on all that below. So it really is just this informative website if you are going through that. So I hope this helped you. And seek help. That's a big thing I want to say. If you notice this, if you are going through this, or if someone else is, tell someone, tell an adult, please. It could really save your life. And also, another thing I want to bring up is if you see something happening, don't necessarily get in between, but if you see something small, like someone's backing them into a corner, say something to get them out of that. Or if you see your friend's trapped, or someone you know is like trapped in a corner almost where they can't get out, walk up and say, "Oh my God, I have to show you something, come with me." Or find a way to get them out of it. But sometimes you can't necessarily help. Sometimes it's too dangerous for you to help. So just bring it up to an adult, because if you're a teenager, it's better to have someone in authority help, because they're more likely to listen to someone in authority. If someone in authority says you gotta stay away from her, they're more likely to stay away from the person than if you were to say that. So please, comment your experiences or things you've seen or things you've gone through, and share this, please, just to let people know, because this isn't always taught in schools. So please just share this around, make sure people know and people are aware of this, and talk to me anytime you need to if you know me in real life, or just comment on my Tumblr, send me things on my Tumblr, Facebook message, Instagram, comment on the YouTube video, because I'm always willing to talk about my experiences and help you get through and help you know you're not alone and there's help. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week.